The grand halls of the Galactic Council echoed with whispers of fear and uncertainty. Ambassador Reed of the Stellar Alliance sat motionless, his normally pristine blue scales now dulled with worry. His daughter, Anna, had been taken by the notorious Black Star Pirates, a ruthless gang that operated in the lawless regions of the Outer Rim. The council chambers, usually a place of measured debate and diplomatic discourse, now buzzed with nervous energy. Representatives from a dozen advanced civilizations offered their condolences, but none dared to propose a rescue mission. The Black Star Pirates were known for their advanced technology and brutal efficiency. Even the mighty Stellar Alliance's military forces hesitated to engage them directly. "We cannot risk open conflict with the Black Star Pirates," announced High Counselor Tarn, his crystalline form shimmering with apparent regret. "It could destabilize the entire sector. We must pursue diplomatic channels." Ambassador Reed's assistant, Tom Wilson, watched from the shadows of the chamber. As the only human representative present, he noticed how the other species viewed his kind, with a mixture of fear and disdain. Humans were considered ruthless and unpredictable by the galactic community. Their rapid advancement from a primitive species to a spacefaring civilization in mere centuries had unnerved many. Tom's communicator vibrated silently. A message from Captain Lisa Hunter of the independent human vessel, Ruthless, appeared. "Heard about Anna. We can help. No diplomatic strings attached." The humans had a saying that the council races found barbaric: "Sometimes you fight fire with fire." While the advanced civilizations prided themselves on their enlightened and peaceful nature, they failed to understand that sometimes, the only way to deal with ruthlessness was to be ruthless yourself. Tom glanced at Ambassador Reed, who had just been informed that official channels would take weeks to establish contact with the pirates. The ambassador's scales had turned an even darker shade of blue, a sign of deep distress in his species. The human knew that every minute they delayed reduced the chances of finding Anna alive. Making his decision, Tom quietly sent a response to Captain Hunter: "Meet me in orbit in 2 hours. Bring your best crew. This won't be easy." The council continued their circular discussions about proper protocols and diplomatic implications, unaware that plans were already in motion. They had dismissed humans as too aggressive, too willing to take risks, too ruthless, but sometimes, those were exactly the qualities needed when facing ruthless enemies. In the space dock above the council world, the Ruthless waited, a human ship that bore the scars of countless battles. Its crew had earned a reputation for taking on impossible missions and succeeding where others feared to try. They were about to prove that being called ruthless wasn't always an insult. Sometimes it was exactly what was needed to do what was right. The Ruthless hung in the darkness of space like a predator waiting to strike. Captain Lisa Hunter stood on the bridge, surrounded by her hand-picked crew of 12, all humans, all veterans of countless rescue operations that official channels deemed too risky. Tom Wilson arrived on board with data stolen from the Council's secure networks. In any other circumstance, such an act would have ended his diplomatic career. But he knew that rules sometimes needed to be broken to do what was right. The Black Star Pirates have 3 known bases, Tom explained, projecting a holographic map. But this one, he pointed to a red dot in a dense asteroid field, shows unusual energy readings over the past 48 hours. Captain Hunter nodded, her scarred face illuminating in the hologram's glow. Perfect place to hide a hostage. Asteroid fields jam most standard scanners, and the magnetic interference makes it nearly impossible for large military ships to navigate safely. Nearly impossible isn't the same as impossible, added Jack, the ship's pilot. His fingers danced across the controls, plotting a course that would thread their ship through the deadly field of spinning rocks. The Ruthless is smaller and more maneuverable than military vessels. We can make it. The plan came together quickly. Unlike the Council's methodical approach that could take weeks, the humans prepared for action in hours. They knew that in hostage situations, time was the enemy. The pirates would only keep Anna alive as long as they thought they could profit from her. "We have another advantage," said Maria, the ship's tech specialist. She pulled up schematics of pirate vessels they'd encountered before. The Black Stars use stolen Stellar Alliance technology. They rely on automated defense systems and shields. But we humans? She grinned. We fight dirty. The Relentless carried weapons that would be considered primitive by Council standards, ballistic missiles, rail guns, and what the crew called garbage bombs, clouds of metallic debris that could shred energy shields like paper. The advanced races had long abandoned such crude weapons in favor of energy-based systems, making them vulnerable to exactly the kind of assault the humans planned. As they approached the asteroid field, Captain Hunter gathered her crew for final preparations. "This isn't just about saving one life," she declared. "This is about showing the galaxy that humanity's reputation for being ruthless isn't a weakness, it's a strength. We do what needs to be done, not what's politically convenient." The ship's stealth systems engaged as they entered the field. Jack's piloting skills proved exceptional as he guided them through the chaos of tumbling rocks and debris. The pirates' base came into view, a sprawling facility built into a massive asteroid, bristling with defense turrets and sensor arrays. They running a Class 3 shield matrix, Maria reported. Standard Council technology. They'll be expecting energy weapons or torpedoes. Then let's give them something they're not expecting, Captain Hunter ordered. Prepare the garbage bombs and ready the boarding teams. Tom, any last-minute intel about the internal layout? Tom pulled up more stolen schematics. The holding cells should be here, he pointed to a section deep within the asteroid. But we need to act fast. The Council's deliberations won't stay secret forever, and once the pirates know we're coming, they won't know what hit them, Hunter finished. Humans have a saying about bringing a knife to a gunfight. Well, we're about to show these pirates what happens when you bring fancy shields to a junkyard brawl. The crew moved to their battle stations. Unlike the pristine, orderly ships of the Stellar Alliance, the Relentless hummed with controlled chaos. Each crew member knew their role, had backup plans for their backup plans, and was ready to improvise when, not if, something went wrong. As they made their final approach, Captain Hunter sent a brief message back to the Council world. "To anyone monitoring this channel, this is how humans handle hostage situations. Watch and learn." The first garbage bomb launched silently into space, its contents spreading out in a deadly cloud of shrapnel. The pirates were about to learn why humanity's ruthless reputation was well-earned, and why sometimes, being ruthless in the service of justice was exactly what the galaxy needed. The first garbage bomb hit the pirates' shields like a meteor shower. Thousands of metal fragments, each moving at incredible speeds, overwhelmed the energy barrier designed to deflect energy weapons. The shield flickered and died in sections, creating gaps in the pirates' supposedly impenetrable defense. "Their shield matrix is failing," Maria called out from her station. "They're trying to reroute power, but they've never seen an attack like this. Their automated systems don't know how to compensate." Captain Hunter's voice remained steady as she issued commands. "Launch second wave. Jack, get us in close while they're confused. Boarding teams, ready in 3 minutes." The pirates finally responded, but their reaction showed their surprise. Energy beams fired wildly into space, designed to hit sleek military vessels, not the agile and unconventional human ship. The Relentless dove and weaved through the barrage, using the asteroid field itself as cover. "They're sending out distress calls," Tom reported, monitoring the communications. "But the same asteroid field that hides their base is blocking their signals. We have time." The second wave of garbage bombs created even more chaos. The pirates' advanced targeting systems, calibrated for modern weapons, couldn't track the thousands of irregular objects now surrounding their base. Their defensive turrets fired frantically but uselessly at the cloud of debris. Inside the pirate base, alarms blared. The Black Star pirates had grown complacent, relying on their stolen technology and the fear they inspired in civilized worlds. They had never faced humans who were willing to throw away the rulebook of modern warfare. Boarding teams, launch. Hunter commanded. 3 pods shot out from the Relentless, each carrying 4 heavily armed humans. Unlike the sleek combat suits used by Stellar Alliance forces, the humans wore practical, battle-tested armor covered in extra plating and utility pouches. The pods crashed through the weakened sections of the shield and slammed into the asteroid's surface, their magnetic grapples securing them to the rock. These pirates don't know what to do when their fancy shields don't work and their stunning weapons bounce off our armor. Tom watched the tactical display, amazed at the efficiency of the human assault. What the Council would have spent weeks planning was being executed in minutes. The pirates, used to terrorizing peaceful merchants and outposts, found themselves completely unprepared for the sheer aggressive competence of the human attackers. Found her. Robert's voice cut through the tension. Detention Block D, Cell 17. Ambassador's daughter is alive and unharmed. Beginning extraction. But the mission wasn't over. The pirates, realizing their prize hostage was about to be taken, launched a desperate counterattack. They released combat drones into the corridors, floating spheres armed with pulse weapons that would have been deadly against standard military forces. Those drones cost more than this entire ship, Tom commented, recognizing the expensive technology. Good thing we brought something cheap then, Hunter replied with a grim smile. She pressed a button on her console. All teams, deploy the nets. The humans had brought simple steel fiber nets, charged with mild electrical currents. The expensive combat drones, programmed to avoid energy weapons and dodge high-tech projectiles, flew straight into these primitive traps. One by one, they crashed to the ground, tangled and shorting out. This is why humans are called ruthless, Tom said, watching the tactical display. We don't fight fair. We don't fight to impress. We fight to win. As the rescue team made their way back to the extraction point with Anna, Captain Hunter prepared the final phase of their mission. The pirates had lost their hostage and their reputation for invulnerability, but the humans weren't finished teaching them a lesson. All teams, begin planting the surprises we brought, she ordered. Let's make sure these pirates think twice before taking any more hostages. The ruthless humans were about to show the galaxy that sometimes, the old ways were the best ways, and that true justice didn't always come from the most advanced weapons or the most civilized approaches. The extraction teams moved swiftly through the corridors of the pirate base, but this time they weren't trying to be subtle. The sound of explosions echoed through the station as they planted their surprises, simple but effective explosive charges targeted at key structural points. Anna, the ambassador's daughter, watched in amazement as her rescuers worked. Unlike the elegant and ceremonial guards she was used to seeing at diplomatic functions, these humans moved with practiced efficiency. Their armor was scratched and dented, their weapons were simple and brutal, but their effectiveness was undeniable. I don't understand, she said to Robert as they made their way back to the extraction point. The Council said no one could stand against the Black Star pirates. Bombs turned out to be anything but random. Hidden among the floating metal fragments were hundreds of simple magnetic mines, now activated by a signal from the Relentless. The pirates' sophisticated sensors, still struggling with the metallic clouds surrounding their base, hadn't detected these primitive but lethal devices. The first pirate ship to advance triggered a dozen mines. Its shields, designed to deflect energy weapons, did nothing against the physical explosions that ripped into its hull. More ships moved to help, only to encounter mines of their own. Extraction pods 1 and 2 secured, reported Jack from the pilot station. Last team with the primary package is 30 seconds out. The pirates, realizing they'd been outmaneuvered, launched a desperate attack on the final extraction pod. Energy beams lanced out, trying to prevent the humans from escaping with their hostage. "Not today," Hunter growled. She triggered the last surprise, what the crew called the window breaker. A massive electromagnetic pulse, crude but powerful, swept out from the Relentless. The pirates' energy weapons stuttered and died, their shields flickered out, and their communication systems went silent. "Final team secured," Jack announced. "All humans accounted for, Ambassador's daughter is safe." As the Relentless began its retreat through the asteroid field, Tom watched the tactical display with a mix of awe and satisfaction. The pirates' base was in chaos, their ships were either damaged or powerless, and their fearsome reputation was in tatters. "Now for the finale," Hunter announced. She opened a channel to all the teams. "Detonate the surprises." Throughout the pirate base, the planted charges began to explode. But these weren't simply bombs, they were targeted demolitions, carefully placed to destroy specific systems. The pirates' stolen shield generators overloaded. Their weapon stockpiles were rendered useless. Their communication arrays melted into slag. "We're not just destroying their base," Tom realized. "We're destroying their ability to operate as pirates." Hunter nodded. "Humans don't just solve the immediate problem. We make sure it stays solved. The Council might call it ruthless, but I call it thorough." As they navigated away from the asteroid field, Anna watched the destruction on the monitors. "Won't the Council be angry?" This wasn't an authorized military action. "Sometimes it's better to ask forgiveness than permission," Tom replied. "Especially when doing the right thing." The Relentless emerged from the asteroid field just as the last charges detonated. The pirate base, once a symbol of terror in the Outer Rim, was now a smoking ruin. Its surviving members would spread the word, "Don't underestimate humans, and definitely don't make them angry." "Send a message to the Council," Hunter ordered. "Tell them we have the Ambassador's daughter and we're heading back. Add that the Black Star pirates won't be a problem anymore." "And the diplomatic fallout?" Tom asked, though he was already smiling. "Tell them that sometimes, being called ruthless isn't an insult," Hunter replied. "It's a recognition that we'll do whatever it takes to protect the innocent and punish the guilty. If that makes some people uncomfortable, well." She shrugged, "That's why they call us ruthless." As the Relentless set course for the Council world, its crew began their post-mission routines. They cleaned their simple but effective weapons, patched up their practical armor, and prepared to face the political storm their actions would undoubtedly cause. But they had achieved what the mighty Stellar Alliance couldn't: they had rescued an innocent, destroyed a pirate threat, and proved that sometimes the most effective solution wasn't the most elegant one. They had shown the galaxy that humanity's reputation for ruthlessness wasn't a flaw, but a force that could be directed toward justice. The return to the Council world caused more chaos than the entire pirate raid. As the Relentless descended through the atmosphere, a dozen diplomatic vessels rushed to meet it. The Council chambers, which had been filled with quiet whispers of despair just days ago, now buzzed with angry accusations and demands for explanation. Ambassador Reed stood at the landing pad, his scales now bright with anticipation. When Anna emerged from the ship, he broke all diplomatic protocol and rushed forward to embrace his daughter. The Council representatives watching from a safe distance muttered among themselves, such emotional displays were considered uncouth in proper galactic society. "The humans," Anna began telling her father, her eyes bright with excitement, "they were amazing. When the pirates' shields failed, there will be time for stories later," High Counselor Tarn interrupted, floating forward on his crystalline platform. "Captain Hunter, you and your crew have violated numerous galactic protocols. Unauthorized military action, use of prohibited weapons, destruction of property. With all due respect, Counselor," Tom Wilson stepped forward, his diplomatic training evident in his polite but firm tone, the only thing that was destroyed was a pirate base using stolen Alliance technology. The same pirates who had kidnapped a diplomatic family member and threatened the stability of this sector. Captain Hunter stood with her crew, their battle-worn appearance a sharp contrast to the pristine surroundings of the Council world. "We didn't just rescue the ambassador's daughter," she announced. "We've received word that 3 other pirate groups in the sector have already surrendered to Alliance patrols. Apparently, none of them want to risk having humans show up at their bases." The Council chamber erupted in debate. Some representatives demanded sanctions against Earth for their reckless behavior. Others quietly admitted that the human solution, while unorthodox, had achieved more in 3 days than the Council had managed in years of dealing with pirate threats. "This is exactly why we consider humans dangerous," one Council member declared. "You act without proper deliberation. You use primitive weapons. You show no regard for proper procedures." "No," Ambassador Reed's voice cut through the chaos. His scales shimmered with an intensity that silenced the chamber. "This is exactly why humans are valuable allies. While we debated protocols, they acted. While we feared breaking rules, they broke chains. While we worried about diplomatic implications, they saved lives." Captain Hunter and her crew stood quietly as the ambassador continued. "You call humans ruthless? I call them decisive. You say they're primitive? I say they're practical. You claim they're dangerous? Yes, they are, to those who threaten the innocent." The Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Reed walked to Captain Hunter and her crew. In a move that shocked the assembly, he bowed deeply, a gesture of highest respect in his culture. "My daughter lives because humans were willing to be what we call ruthless. Perhaps it's time we reconsidered what that word really means." High Counselor Tarn floated forward again, his crystalline form reflecting the chamber's lights. "The Council cannot officially condone your actions," he began, then paused. "However, we cannot deny their effectiveness. Perhaps there is room in our protocols for what humans call practical solutions." In the days that followed, the story of the human rescue spread throughout the sector. The Relentless and her crew became something of a legend, the ship that proved humanity's reputation for ruthlessness could be a force for good in the galaxy. Tom Wilson returned to his diplomatic duties, but now other species sought him out, curious about human perspectives on their problems. Captain Hunter and her crew received quiet thanks from numerous worlds that had suffered from pirate attacks but had been too afraid to act. The Relentless remained in orbit around the Council world, its battle-scarred hull a reminder that sometimes the most effective solutions weren't the most elegant ones. Some Council members still frowned at the sight of it, but others had begun to understand what humanity had been trying to tell them all along. "You know what the real irony is?" Tom said to Captain Hunter as they watched the sunset from the Council world's observation deck. "They call us ruthless because we're willing to do what needs to be done. But from our perspective, ignoring injustice just to follow protocols, that's the real ruthlessness." The captain nodded, watching as ships from a dozen worlds passed by below. "Maybe that's why humans have survived and thrived out here. We understand that sometimes you have to break the rules to serve their true purpose." In her quarters aboard the Relentless, Anna had begun writing her account of the rescue. She described not just the actions of her human saviors, but their spirit, their determination to do what was right, their willingness to face any challenge, their understanding that true civilization wasn't about following rules, but about protecting the values behind them. The galaxy was changing, slowly but surely. Humanity's reputation for ruthlessness remained, but its meaning had begun to shift. In the dark places between the stars, pirates and criminals now feared the humans not for their savagery, but for their unwavering determination to fight injustice. And in the great halls of the Galactic Council, when voices called for caution and procedure in the face of wrongdoing, other voices began to ask a new question: what would the humans do? The answer, more often than not, was to be ruthless in the pursuit of justice, and to prove that sometimes, the species others called primitive were the ones who best understood the true meaning of civilization.